Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chess Show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today we have two professors, international masters of chess. Ken Regan, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Dan Fleetwood, welcome to the show, Dan.
There I am.
Okay.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken. Very happy to be here.
Great. I'm glad.
Okay. So obviously we are going to talk a lot about this. Just finished both Open and Ladies candidate tournaments. And we know who the winners are. And what I wanted to say is that the popularity of the tournament, the coverage that it had everywhere, may make Carlsen to rethink his strategy of ignoring World Championship FIDE, because with all he's doing, and he's doing a lot to popularize the random chess, blitz, and all kinds of tournaments under all kinds of formats. There is still enigma attached to this candidates tournament, and then followed by the World Championship match. And it seems to me that both Gukesh, but even more so Sindarov, they are yet immune to Carlsen's superiority that he demonstrated over and over again against other grandmasters. They are all beaten. The same thing when it reminds me many years ago, say 50 years ago, when Karpov came to dominance and he demolished one and the other, everybody in a previous generation except Korchnoi. But eventually he prevailed over Korchnoi as well. And Fischer, probably arguably one of the reasons why he refused to play much with Karpov is that Karpov was not beaten by anybody, including Fischer himself. And it was kind of a known quantity that he had to meet, and he was not sure that he would be able to prevail, especially that at that time all Soviet chess machine was working for Karpov, and he would be definitely.
Hey, Karpov had won the Church's Fried Chicken event.
Yeah.
So,
that was a strong field, too.
It was, yes. That was a great tournament.
I have that book. It's a wonderful book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, one of the greatest. Yes, I agree. So, what I'm trying to say is that we'll definitely hear something new from Carlsen, and hopefully soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement with Carlsen.
More this candidates tournament World Championship match. Now he can be accused of chicken taco strategy.
Yes, well, there's a rumor that he might be led to face Sindarov if Sindarov beats Gukesh.
Otherwise, we can only hope.
Yeah, it's had a year of the four emperors feel to it, with Nepomniachtchi, Ding Liren, Gukesh, and now Sindarov not having established superiority. Sindarov was 2690 not so long ago. So
yeah. And what is he now? About 27, or 20?
Yeah.
No, 27. What, 70 or so?
Right. Yeah. Well, he's 40 plus points higher than Gukesh, I think, if I remember. So
yeah.
So that's it's a not insignificant gap in the rating system.
Right.
So.
And also, if you consider the games of the tournament, specifically Sindarov's game, I don't recall any single game where he would be worse fighting for a draw, trying to equalize, or anything like that. I mean, he was either clearly better after the opening, or at least equal, especially when he played black. I mean, he played black a solid, so-called World Championships openings.
His preparation was insanely good, and I think we did cover his win over Praggnanandhaa last week. And therefore. Since then, he made professional draws to close out the tournament. Last four games. So
if you compare Carlsen's style and his opening preparation with Sindarov, I fail to see any advantage of Carlsen with opening preparation or conducting the game. He may have psychological advantage over Sindarov because he is much more experienced, because his style is that unique or so on. But if you take out those psychological factors as a chess itself, I don't see Carlson significant advantage at all.
Yeah.
Really,
Well,
really, but I don't.
I will say this, that Sandarov, I think, had the greatest employment of psychology against particular opponents in his prep, something we usually associate with Carlsen. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although I would love to see, I mean, if we fast forward and imagine that Sindarov continues to improve, I would love to see him against a highly motivated Magnus. That would
Okay.
be that would be a joy to watch.
That would be match of the century. Remember when Spassky faced Fischer? That was recalled match of the century. And that could be another one yet coming.
yeah. Now, there was also the ladies section that had all the drama.
Oh my goodness!
I think it really helped that the two tournaments were together for preserving interest.
Wonderful.
So going into the last round, it was Vaishali and Bibisara on 7.5, Jujiner on 7, and three others, Goryashkina, Lagno, and I'm embarrassed to say I haven't looked up the other one, on 6.5. And they were playing each other in such a way that it was
Anna?
Anna Muzik.
Yeah.
It was still in it. That's right. So they were playing each other in such a way that there could have wound up a 5-way tie on 6.5 on +1. But in fact, the tournament concluded without any need for tie breaks. And this was just an interesting study in enterprising play by all four participants, even Divya Deshmukh, who was out of the running in the last round. So this is Vaishali having just lost the game 2 rounds previous when she had a clear point lead to Jujiner. And then Jujiner also lost a game that she could easily have won. That's right. Really what made her fall back. Anyway, she's white against Katerina Lagno. And so right away we see Enterprise, Sicilian Defense from black, and Dragon. Okay,
yeah,
so
we're not seeing the board, but while you're pulling that up, I will say that I was shocked to see the Dragon, because I've played this opening since 1975, and but not in serious correspondence chess since the late 90s. It's not that it's unsound. For example, correspondence grandmaster Stephen Ham has demonstrated that the Dragon is completely sound, and you can easily make a draw with black if you know exactly what you're doing and play the correct lines, which did not happen in this game.
Right. Well, Lagno did not want to draw. Okay, I've tried sharing again.
Yeah, it's here.
Is it seeing now?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So the interesting thing is, Stockfish 18 is giving white a fairly substantial advantage with F3, although often Bishop E3 first transposes like this. So main line, except that black, black.
Yeah, this is fine.
Black is reserving the ability to play D5 and does so. This is a pawn sacrifice on several levels. And there is I don't know how new it is, but there is a very interesting way for white to play. So not chop the pawn. In fact, taking the pawn is not among the engine's top lines. But the move, which whose worth may have been appreciated because it is the engine's second line, is to play bishop c4.
I had never seen this played. In all the years I played the Dragon, I never saw this played. This is such an interesting and obvious idea.
Yeah.
These things, what's the problem for black? Imagine
Well,
that
black can equalize, but you have to either know the line or calculate really, really accurately here.
And you also have to moderate your expectations.
Yes. So E6.
Well, that's the move that most people play.
Yeah.
And that, sorry, I missed what you said before. I interrupted.
No. I mean, you can't. Well, you do have to basically play for a draw in this position. You can't really go for a win as black, or you'll get torched.
Okay, well, that's what Katerina Lagno tried here. So she played bishop e6.
Yeah, which is terrible.
Which is terrible. Yeah. So we sacrifice a pawn, but it's terrible but practical in some way. So my opinion, while this game was being played, was that yes, okay, white is a pawn ahead, but white's position is a kind where in a real practical chess game, I think it's easier to make a misstep because you eventually want to advance on the queen side, but you have to play fairly accurately, precisely with sequences in order not to fall into some kind of trap. Now, an instructive, so king b1, of course, is a good way to start. So Vaishali's conduct of this game, modulo a few things, was very mature. So now,
I've got to say, white's position plays itself here. I mean, you just have to be tactically alert. This is. I mean, what does the engine say? +1? Yeah.
+1, yeah. So I had the opposite impression that this was not so easy for white, but
no, I think this is really easy, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, well, it's how Vaishali made it look. So now, so an interesting juncture. Black should play a5 right away. Instead, Lagno took, to provoke a weakness. And now, interesting thing, which pawn do you take back with? It's actually
the c pawn is thematic here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The c pawn is thematic because the king and pawn ending is easily won, and you trade pieces along the c file.
Right, and white's king actually is fairly rock solid. It's even if black could play a5, a4 takes b3, very often you can just ignore it with a3. And if you've gained a pawn or an advantage elsewhere, you don't mind losing that pawn. So a takes b3, now a5, and now lines are going to open. So I was a little bit concerned here. Although white has bishop d4, that's the first line of any strategy to remove pieces, and black maybe could have tried to get enough activity to hold in a rook ending by capturing, but Lagno understandably kept.
Which rook is rook d8 instead of e5?
Yeah, let's see, rook d8. Yes, you mean instead of a5 or now?
Yeah, and e5 to follow.
Yes. Okay. So right. So queen c3.
You just play queen. Yeah. Queen c3.
Off.
Yeah.
The queens are coming off. So.
Yeah. I think you are right.
Or black has to make concessions in the center.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, e5 is the only move to try to win, which Katerina needed to do.
Yeah. So a4. I mean, it's so now one takes a4 again, given as a mistake. b4, but
b4.
b4 carries with it some risk. I mean, so anyway, so pawn takes a4 is actually rather risk-free. The question mark is a little bit harsh because white gives back the pawn but gets a harmonious position. But you still have to play accurately. For instance, I think bishop b2 right away, I was looking during the game, and after queen a7, suddenly black is completely equal. So it is. This was what framed my. However, rook he1, bring the last rook into the game. Don't cover your king so quickly. Now bishop b2 is a fine move, but nothing wrong with rook a4 either. And there are ways for white to misstep here, to wrong foot the pieces and lose a lot of the advantage. Bishop b2 here would be a slight slip, but queen d3. Taking over some more center squares. And now bishop d2 actually is not a slip This is a hash
Yeah.
table collision issue with
Right.
stockfish that we should just ignore. So,
And
you're,
in all of these lines, it's just unless black can get all three majors there, the position with the bishop on b2 or so, you just can't do anything with the queen and rook. So the counterplay that you want to have is just isn't there.
Yeah, but what black has to try to get in is f5 and e4, opening diagonal. So I mean that's latent in this position. So Vaishali, getting a little short on time, 13 moves in 25 minutes, offered a repetition, but Lagno declined it, and now able to push black's pieces around a bit more, and white has improved the organization of her pieces, and black has not. So this is now looking very good for white. And now white played a very curious move, just very calm. Next move after this one, I think. Yeah. So white played g4. It makes sense. Black's rooks are off on the a file. Let's try and open lines against black's king, and that's ultimately how she wins. So
yeah, again, I didn't understand the question mark there because this looked okay, but maybe it was just that white had something stronger.
Yeah, the engine is caviling between a 1.0 and 1.3 advantage for white. The main thing is white is keeping her pull. And now, so king h7 is hoping to get in f5, but f5 is now opening more lines than it would have with the h pawn still there. So, black played king h7 to avoid queen d5, trading queens. But now white even has a battery. Rook on d5 in some positions can move with effect.
Yeah.
So finally, Lagno. What?
This move just looked desperate to me.
Yeah, but it's white has stopped black's plan of f5. Right. I mean, it's so that was black's plan. So this here is desperate, and queen b6 just angling here. And now, let's see now. Is this a repetition? Let's see. So the
I think it was just a game time.
Table issues. So this really was just a game time. So it's silly to give that an exclam. Now Lagno again is trying to make some things happen.
Well, I mean, white does have to see the refutation, and she does.
Yes. I mean, you could play queen e1, but queen e1 is a very weird-looking move. Otherwise, white's advantage is there's no other play here. So this was reasonable stab by black, but again here you have to see the exact move. If you lazily play queen f3, then this is
goodbye.
So c4, nice move, and now queen h4, the fruits of white's play is going to be checkmate. So Lagno had to deflect to open up the diagonal, and you just have to calculate this and make sure that there's no mate on b2, and there isn't. White can double the rooks up, and in this position, Lagno finally gave up. So very calm and self-assured play under pressure by Vaishali. A lot had been made of her being the lowest rated participant, but I've actually been saying by email in tournaments where she's played that she's 75, 100 ELO underrated according to my metrics. So this is not a surprise. I don't know why she
certainly played like she was 25 50 to 25 80 or so in this tournament, and that if she plays at that level versus Ju and Jun, that would be a competitive match.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I remember seeing her when I visited the candidates in Toronto, same weekend I saw you and Nava, Sasha. She had just lost her fourth game in a row and was quite distraught. Then she won 5 in a row. So she obviously can turn it on. Okay, now, at the same time, Bibisara Asabayeva had 7.5, and she went for a win with the black pieces. And this is, again, so white helps a little bit by playing b3. So we already have a very unbalanced position after 3 moves. Okay, so it's sort of what you call this, a Benoni Indian?
Yeah, this. I mean, this is it's kind of like a. I mean, it looks like it'll either evolve into a Benoni or a Benoni-like position.
Yeah.
Son of sorrow, indeed.
Yes, that's right. Well, yeah, it is sorrow for black, but
this move, knight e to d7, heavily criticized by many commentators who were suggesting the best one is knight a6, knight c7, b6, a6, and eventually b8 and b5.
That is I would play this position. Yeah, that's how I always played this position. I had a game like this against Miles once.
Yeah. I mean, like 20 years ago, that was a common plan, but computers have found antidotes against that. Sometimes there's like you know, I don't know. It's just slower. So.
Yeah, but knight d7. What's next?
I mean, I played the Benoni for a long time. I had to give it up in correspondence, just not because it's a forced loss, but because the way that I was playing it was a forced loss. And if I couldn't play it kind of an interesting way, it's like why bother? So, I mean, this line for black I think is okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's so rook b8, hoping to. So white clamps down with c4. This is the setup that I always hated facing as black, but because white really can clamp down. Black. So the decision to take on e6 is curious to me. Now I'm happier as black.
Yeah, that's usually better for black.
Yeah, and the engine shows this too. Advantage down to a third of a point. Because black, now the knight d7 move had some point, and black is, has this center. The double pawns are not so weak. But we are just playing chess here. So this was curious that Bibisara decided to close the queen side and put all of her eggs in king side activity. So, and she succeeds. Now, what black would love to do is play this move. Great position, but it's going to take that knight. I mean, you d7, b8, c6 isn't even on. So, okay, but at any rate, so black just decided to solidify. And we're playing for a win. We're trying to get guys going on the queen side. So never mind. I mean, you can play knight g4 or bishop c8, or just at bishop c8, knight d7, knight b8 might be the way to play this position. Undeveloped queen b8. The computer is saying too. Undevelop all your pieces. But
those stacked center pawns seem to have been a theme of both sides of the candidates. It led to ruin for Caruana. And on the ladies' side, there was a game in the Caro-Kann where it also worked out horribly. Here it looks just equal though.
Yeah, and black can play rook to d4 probably in a lot of these positions.
Yeah.
But instead, Bibisara exchanged, wanting to divert white's rook off f1, and here we come. This is where the game starts becoming lots of fun. Knight takes e4. Okie doke. I mean, it wins a pawn. It exposes your stacked center pawns. So at this point, Divya Deshmukh was down under 12 minutes. At this point, I thought Bibisara had a good chance to win, even observing how white is going to regain the pawn. But she decided to go for it with knight takes f2. Now, knight takes f2 can be refuted, as you saw with the computer, but only with some very fine and self-aware play. So this position is a little lifeless for black, because if you trade bishops, your white has the better center. The computer wants to not trade bishops and get rid of white's knight. So then it's really bishops opposite colors. So maybe But that was not Bibisara's intention. So she went for knight takes f2, rook d7, queen f6. Now we are just threatening to do things on the f file for black, with and without the trade of bishops. So for instance, if white captures bishop takes b7, then there's this really, black just captures this knight, and this is okay for black. It'll be somewhat similar to how the game actually went. But the refutation that white can give is a very fine move. White plays knight d6. Okay. And now if bishop takes g2, then white has to play the right knight. Okay, knight f7 is wrong. You're going to need some control over the center too. Knight f7 check. And then if king g8, then knight h6 check. Okay. And now if king h8, then the other knight goes to f7 and white wins material. And if bishop takes h6, queen takes h6, knight h3 check, what you have to see is that white can for safety there.
Wow.
Yes. And
good luck seeing that one.
White is going to mate before black does. So that was the refutation.
That's quite a line.
But Divya, again, seeing the clock ticking down, I'm sure had safety in mind. So she captures the knight, and you can calculate that white can activate her knight in time before things fall apart on the king side. And in fact, this position is an attractor toward a perpetual check. So right now, white is going to get a mating attack with bishop d5 and h7 check. So Bibisara has to give perpetual check in this position. So Divya did her countrywoman fine by holding this game to a draw.
Well, it's quite a game.
Yep. So I want to show one more game. I want to give a nod to one other tournament, the European Individual Championship with 499 players in Katowice, Poland. Okay. And one of those players who is in contention, only a point off the lead after 9 rounds, is Vasyl Ivanchuk. And he plays a wonderful 25-move semi-miniature in this game. And I want to set it, see if I can set it so that you don't see the last move. Can I turn off this pane or something like that? Or let me just grab another window and put it in the way. So that's the right way to do it. So here. Okay, so let me just minimize this window and stick it in the way of the moves. So he's white. Oh, darn it. Okay, I see. Okay, so I can do it with the mouse, though. Oh, maybe I can do it. Let's see. And now put this up with the mouse. Okay, here we no, it's not going to let me do it. Darn it. Okay.
Anyway, we'll just not watch.
How's okay. That? All right. Okay, so Catalan Queen's Orthodox Queen's Gambit sort of position. It's actually probably quite deviating by now. White has a lot to play for. Engine likes white, 7/10 of a pawn ahead. Black is solid, but white is just going to play Morphy style with active play in the center, not minding giving up the 2 bishops. So we just calculate that the best piece on the board is latently that white bishop on g2, and so white is expanding her reach. So black decided to go back. You can't really take on d4 either way without making too many concessions in the center. The engine doesn't even list it as an option. So there we go. White has great center. The d pawn is not blocked at all. It's mobile, but black decides to go do things on the queen side. Here we go. So white's d pawn is no longer a liability. 2 open files, but black is still playing. And right now, black decides how. Let's stick the knight in. And here comes a wonderful combination. Not bishop takes b7, but just put the bishop on b5. And what you're doing is you're threatening knight g6, trapping the rook. Okay, so black plays rook a6, which double guards the g6 square. White now plays h4. This is an attack. White has so Black did not want to allow h5, probably having seen Caruana's miserable experience when allowing, or Nakamura's miserable experience when allowing that structure against Caruana in the first rounds of the candidates. Now rook lift here. Okay, so rook c3. I can hide the move. Okay, so rook c3, just guarding stuff and saying, Black, what are you going to do? And Black played king h8 to unpin the f pawn, but this now allows White to strike. Well, Black strikes back. So the point is, Ivanchuk is able to calculate what's happening with all these pieces. So rook takes f6, knight takes f7. Okay, well, both of White's rooks are hanging, but we're not going to move the rook yet. We're going to play knight g6 check, but this is one of those puzzles on ChessBase. Play knight g6 check only after you see White's next move. So here we go, knight g6 check, king g8. What's White's next move? You got both your rooks hanging. You can take Black's rook, but
rook e8, takes e8, and then bishop f7, enough?
oh, I see what's showing in the window. That's annoying.
No. I was looking at the position only.
Here we go. Ooh, I should be having it here. Your rook takes
well,
e8.
I don't know. I'd be looking at rook takes e8, and I'd be looking at rook to f5.
Okay, rook takes e8 actually does win. Maybe that's a little blemish on this. Yeah, rook takes e8. Okay, so White could have played rook takes e8. But what Ivanchuk played was rook f5.
Oh.
You know,
I'm happy to have gotten it.
yes, okay, yeah, you saw it then. Yes, knight takes c1, knight e7 check, king here, and rook takes h5.
Yeah.
So it's delightful, sprightly finish to that game.
Very
well, it's good to actually see something, since oversights are my specialty.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just one of those patterns there.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, Ivanchuk is
very nice.
Playing very, very creative chess and very good games. And in my opinion, he's very underrated player of the end of 20th century, beginning of 21st. But he's a great talent. There's no doubt about that. Chairman, thank you very much for today's program, and we'll see you next week, same place, same time. Yep. All the best, and have a great evening. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Yep. Bye.